Treasure Island, Chapter 2.
I could see the road from where we were hiding, and soon I saw 8 men. One of them was the blind man. I saw them walk down the road to the Admiral Benbow Inn. They were surprised to see that the door was open. Then they all ran inside. I heard someone shout, "Bill's dead!" "Go and find his box," said the blind man. A little later, a window opened from the captain's bedroom, and a man called out, "Someone has opened the box." "Is it there?" said the blind man. "Only the money is there," replied the man. "It's the boy and the woman from the inn," shouted the blind man. "Let's find them." The men started to look around the house. "If you find it, you'll all be rich," said the blind man. At this time, we heard horses coming down the road. When the men heard the horses, they started to run in all directions. The horses arrived, so I ran out to see who was riding them. One of them was the boy who went to get Dr. Livesey, and the rest were policemen. 2 men took my mother to the village, where she soon felt better, and the others tried to catch the men. But it was too late. We heard that they escaped on a boat. I returned to the Admiral Benbow with the police. "What did they want?" said Mr. Dance, the head of the police. "I think that they wanted this," I said, showing him the papers that I still had in my jacket. "I'd like to take them to Dr. Livesey." "That's a good idea," said Mr. Dance. "He's a magistrate as well as a doctor. He'll know what to do. I'll come with you." We found that Dr. Livesey was not at home, but was eating at the house of Mr. Trelawney, an important rich man. Mr. Trelawney asked us into his house. I showed Mr. Trelawney and Dr. Livesey the papers that the captain had in his box. "I think this might be a clue as to where Flint buried his treasure," said Dr. Livesey. "That is why those men were not interested in money," agreed Mr. Trelawney. "If you are right, we should take the next boat from Bristol and go and find the treasure ourselves." "If Jim here agrees," said the doctor, looking at me, "we should look at these papers now." The doctor looked at the papers. Some of them seemed to describe the ships that the captain and his men had robbed of money. Then we looked at the other papers and saw a map of an island with a big cross on it next to the words, "Most of treasure here." "Dr. Livesey, we should go to Bristol tomorrow," said Mr. Trelawney. "In a few days we'll find the best ship in England. Jim Hawkins here can come as our ship's boy. You can be the ship's doctor." "I agree," said the doctor. "But those men who tried to find the map will now be looking for us. We are not safe anymore. We must not tell anyone else what we know." It took us longer than we thought to be ready to leave England. While Mr. Trelawney prepared for the journey in Bristol, I stayed at Mr. Trelawney's house with his servant Redruth and spent hours studying the map, thinking about the treasure that we might find. One day, a letter was sent to me from Mr. Trelawney. It said that a good man called Blandley had a ship called the Hispaniola for us. Trelawney said that he had found a crew ready to work on it. The crew included a man called Long John Silver, who had lost a leg but was a good cook. Silver also knew other men who would join us. Trelawney said that everyone was excited by the thought of the treasure. I was surprised by this, as I thought we had to keep the news of the treasure a secret. I was very excited by the thought of the journey, and I went to say goodbye to my mother at the Admiral Benbow Inn. I was very sad to leave her the next day, when I travelled to Bristol with Redruth. We had just one night in the city before we were going to sail.
Let's discuss the meaning of these words. Clue. An object or piece of information that helps to solve a crime. Crew. The people who work together on a ship, plane, etc. Escape. Succeed in leaving a place when someone or something is trying to stop you. Head. The most important person in an organization. Magistrate. Someone who decides if a person is guilty of less serious crimes in a court. Rob. Steal something from a person, shop, etc. Servant. Someone whose job is to live in another person's house and do jobs for them, such as cleaning.